Good morning, everybody. Good morning, grade 2s and grade 3s. Good morning to the grown-ups, siblings, cousins, family, friends that are at home with you, maybe even your pets. I have my dog Jedi here today, so if you hear him barking, that's who that is. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to our virtual school session for the day. So if you're with me this morning, that tells me that maybe you haven't heard from your assigned virtual teacher yet, or you have and they're starting up maybe very shortly. So thank you everybody for hanging in there. I know the school board's working very hard in getting everyone set up and finding the right teacher for everybody. So thanks for hanging in there. Until then, I get to hang out with you, and I'm very excited about that. So here we go. I'm going to start our session. So we're here together, grade 2s and 3s from 10 to about 10:50. We're going to do some learning about the internet. And we are also going to do maybe some storytelling, maybe a little bit of a STEM challenge. We're going to see what we could fit in this morning. I have a lot of fun activities. Please try to check it out at home. And you can follow along when you can. And for those that are maybe watching this because you weren't able to join us live, I hope you enjoyed as well. So here we go. Sorry, just bringing everything up. So here we go. Oh. All right. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge the enduring presence of the Aboriginal and First Nations people of the land where we are situated. For me, I know I looked into the history of the land of the part of Toronto that I live in, which is the land of the Mississauga. And I encourage you to look into where you are in Toronto, because Toronto, our city, is so big that each part of Toronto has a different history. So I would really encourage you to either find out where your home school is located, where your home is located, and go for a walk in the neighborhood. I know in my neighborhood there's plaques and there's different information when we go for a walk. So I'm going to encourage you to do that and look into it so that you can truly thank and acknowledge those that were here before us and are still with us here on these lands. I'm gonna play O Canada. Some of you may have not stood for O Canada in a long time. We've been home for a long time, 6 months now. April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, so I like still standing for O Canada when I do my virtual sessions because it does give me a little piece of being at school, a little bit of normal. And it's also a nice time to stand up and appreciate and think about how lucky we are to live in Canada, what a great country we have. I want you to think while you're standing or singing along what Canada means to you. What are some of the really great things about Canada? One thing, and here's a picture on the screen right now, that I'm very thankful for is that we have trees that have changing leaves color. And that's a really great thing about now that it's October. I look at my window and some of the trees are starting to turn. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that I feel safe in my home. And I'm thankful that we have a really good healthcare system and education system too. So those are the things I want you to think about. You can sing along. You can have people in your house sing with you. I'm going to sing quietly. I am not a music teacher, so I will sing as well because this version has no words. So please stand up and join me for O Canada. Awesome. So thank you for those that stood up. That's great. Thank you. And you know what? I actually forgot to put a slide in here. We are going to talk about some cyber safety. We are all on the computers every day now, pretty much. We are learning online. We are doing some other things online. So I did want to talk to all of you, grade 2s and 3s, and families at home about cyber safety. I forgot to put a slide here because I do want to take a really quick minute to take a mindful moment. So I will put it in after. So we're going to do one live with me. I like to do a mindful moment before I'm learning. Sometimes it helps me focus, gets me ready to go. I can do mindful moment when I'm getting nervous or a little bit frustrated with a situation. Maybe when I have too much energy. Sometimes I could just do it for fun. It also helps me before bed sometimes. So I encourage everyone to participate right now. Actually, I'm just going to switch my screen so that you can all see me. Hello. So I'm going to encourage everyone to try this right now. This is something that's a really good mindful activity that you can do in class. You can do it in the car. You can do it at home, and you don't need a lot of space for it. And it's just something you can do on your own. So right now, I'm going to encourage you to wiggle your toes. So I want you to, you can be sitting, you can be standing. I can't show you. Oh, I'm going to try to show you my toes. There you go. I've got some good socks on. So I want you to wiggle your toes and wiggle them as fast as you can. So wiggle, 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 wiggle. I'm just going to do this with my fingers so you can see what my toes are doing. And then wiggle, 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 wiggle. Maybe if you're at home, maybe you have some slippers on, some socks, you're barefoot, maybe you have your shoes on. So you go wiggle, 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 wiggle. And I want you to think about your pinky toe. I want you to think about the toes in the middle. And I want you to think about your big toe. I want you to wiggle your left toe. Toes. Now I want you to wiggle your right toes. And then wiggle them as fast as they can. Go, 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 go. And stop. I want you to, and I always pause after I stop. I want you to feel your feet and your toes right now. Do they feel warm? Do they feel, sometimes they feel a little tingly after you do that. Sometimes I go, wow, I've never really thought about my pinky toe before, but guess what? It helps you balance. There's some science behind that. And it just makes me think of my feet. We're going to do the same activity now, and we're going to do it with our hands. So this one's easier for me to show. All right, here we go. We're going to wiggle our fingers. Wiggle your fingers. And again, if you're doing this at home, or if you're doing this, maybe you're out and about, or maybe when we get back to school, you can do this at your desk. You can put your hands down low if you want, if you don't want to be up in front. But I'm going to do this for you guys right now. So I'm wiggling my fingers. I'm going to think about my pinky finger. And I notice even when I wiggle, just focus on my pinky finger, my thumbs kind of stop wiggling. So I have to really focus on them. And think of the ones in the middle. And then the thumb. And you can tell it's Friday because I really have to think of her sometimes. You've had a really busy week. And we're going to do just your left hand. And we're just going to do just your right hand. And you're going to stop. I feel my hands kind of tingling, throbbing. I feel the blood rushing to my hands. I can feel it in my arms a little bit sometimes, depending on which position you were when you did that. And I'm also noticing I actually haven't been worrying about anything for the last couple minutes while I was doing that. I also noticed that my energy feels a little bit more focused and I feel present with you right now. So I want you to just take a moment. How did you feel after that wiggling activity? Again, you can try it again later. Grown-ups at home, I hope you tried it too. And here we go. We're going to talk about some cyber safety. Okay, so cyber safety is super, super important because, again, we are all online. This is still a fairly new thing, boys and girls. I know, I'm sure you don't know how old I am, but I am old enough that I did not have the internet when I was at school. So this is something that we are still learning about, what this looks like. It's going to keep changing, and I really want to make sure that everybody is safe. Lots of things are on the internet that are great, and we can interact with each other, and you can learn, and you can connect with your friends and your family, but we need to do it us in a safe way. So I'm going to play this really great video that I really enjoy that really illustrates some ways that we could keep safe while we're on our computers, our tablets, our smartphones. So many different options.
If you're watching this right now, my powers of deduction tell me that there's about a 100% chance that you use the internet. I'm so smart. Thanks for logging onto YouTube today and checking out Wellcast. We're super glad you're here. And since you've already conveniently placed yourself online, we're going to talk to you today about internet safety. Now, wait a minute. Okay, before you roll your eyes and say, my mom told me all about internet safety already, or my surf instructor explained to me the dangers of leaving information on the internet. Just hear me out, alright? We spend a lot of time on the internet here at Wellcast, and we give pretty awesome advice. I think you'll agree. So today we're going to give you our top 4 things that you absolutely need to know about internet safety. Are you ready? Tip 1. The internet is forever, ever, ever, ever. That was all in-house. No joke. Anything that you put on the internet, no matter how old, could be there until you have grandchildren of your own who will be Googling you. I mean, if Google is even still a thing in 40 years, who knows? Maybe Bing can make a great comeback. So what do? Well, start by Googling your name, your phone number, your address, just to find out what's really floating around out there. Plus, it's kind of fun. If you're on social media, and who isn't, use the strictest privacy settings out there. Tip 2, don't put personal information online. 73% of teens and 68% of young adults are on social networking sites. Of those people, roughly half post personal information, phone numbers, addresses, emails. Don't do that. If you do, it leaves you open for attacks from either cyberbullies or just some weird folks who want to take advantage of you. Do yourself a favor and ask a trusted friend what private information they can see on your sites. If you're not happy with the answer, remove it. Tip 3. Don't forget about smartphone safety. In an era of smartphones, cyber safety should extend to your phone too, especially when it comes to tech safety. Remember how your parents warned you about accepting car rides from strangers? Alright, don't accept phone calls or texts from strangers either. Only answer texts and phone calls from your contact list. Tip 4. Handle hacking intelligently. Part of being a member of the World Wide Web is being aware that no matter how careful you are, your account may get hacked. Getting hacked sucks, but it isn't the end of the world, and there are a few important things to do when you get hacked to ensure your safety. A. Change that password, and make the new one secure. Make it unpredictable. According to a CBS article, password was the most popular password of 2012, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. People, we can do better than this. If you're really going for all-out cyber safety, and you should, check to see if your email service provides 2-step verification. It's not impossible, but that is a hard nut to crack. B. Check your sent box and let any affected people know that you were spammed, especially if your account sent out a phishing link. Your friends deserve to know what's up. C. Do a sweep of your computer with antivirus software. Alright, odds are, not only did you send something nasty out to your friends, you might have something nasty lurking in the recesses of your hard drive. D. Back up your files. If there's a virus your computer doesn't catch, you don't want to lose everything. Okay, backing up files is totally a chore, but you'll be really happy you did it. Go ahead and invest in a cheap portable hard drive and keep it somewhere safe. To recap, remember these points. 1. Anything you put on the internet will be there for a very long time. Believe me, I've thought a lot about this. 2. Your personal information shouldn't be visible to everybody. 3. Do not accept phone calls or texts from strange numbers. And 4. If you're hacked, change your password, check that sent box, and clean off your hard drive ASAP. Well, that's all from me today, Wellcasters. Would you do me a kindness? Subscribe to our channel. Sign up for our newsletter to receive sneak peeks and other awesome stuff. See you later!
Okay. Oh, no, don't start yet. Don't start yet. Okay. So hopefully you guys either knew all of that already. We are, grade 2s and 3s. So I don't know how much you are on the computer on your own. I know at our house we get to see my daughter's screen at all times, and students are in my classroom on the computer. We see their screens at all times, and we talk about internet safety, and we talk about passwords and things like that. We are very lucky that with the TDSB, we have a safe, secure connection. Today we're using YouTube Live through my TDSB account, which makes it nice and secure. We don't have the comment feature on so that we can control what everyone is seeing today, making sure it's safe for all of you out there. And when you do have your assigned teacher, you'll be using either Google Classroom or Brightspace. And again, those are nice, safe, and secure, where you'll get your login and you'll get a password and make it a good password. Sometimes you'll get an assigned password from your teacher, and then sometimes you could change it. So that's always a good idea. And I am encouraging you to check out if you are on anything like TikTok. I know a lot of kids are really liking that, and I hear a lot of students have their own accounts. So I want you to make sure that you think about your privacy settings, what you're sending out there. Today I'm streaming from my home, but I also made sure that I have a safe background to keep myself and my family safe. So when I'm streaming or when I'm having Google Meets with my students, I make sure that it's in a safe way, and I just want everyone at home to be safe as well. Because we'll be doing a lot more of this. If we haven't already in the last 6 months, we'll be doing it much more going in the future. And again, it's always changing. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. Okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is cyberbullying. Unfortunately, it happens sometimes. And now, again, we're in, people are chatting online. Maybe some of you are gaming online and having side chats. And it's a tricky situation. Cyberbullying is different because it's different than in a schoolyard. If someone says something to your face, or, if there's any kind of physical bullying or anything like that. Hopefully no one has had any experiences with that, but it does happen. And we need to know what to do. So cyberbullying is different because it's when you're maybe at home and you're on your computer and you're in a safe place, but as soon as you go on the computer, it can change. So I wanted everyone to see this information and think about it. And if you have any questions, talk to your grown-ups, okay?
Hi, Wellcasters. Last week, we started talking about bullies. Those grizzly bears that seem to think that they're allowed to make you feel unsafe and uncomfortable. We showed you some ways to deal with those grizzlies, from playing dead to traveling in packs. But what if the bears could follow you, worming their way through the series of wires that now make up such a huge part of our lives? Today on Wellcast, we're taking a look at cyberbullying. In many ways, cyberbullying can be much scarier than physical bullying, and much harder to escape, too. But that is okay, because your Wellcast army has returned to back you up. We're going to teach you a 4-step method for escaping the clutches of cyberbullies. Are you ready? Unsurprisingly, cyberbullying is extremely detrimental to your health. The Journal of Adolescent Health found that cyberbullying victims are more likely to become depressed than targets of traditional bullying. And cyberbullies don't really have much in the way of motives either. With bullying, there's normally an imbalance of power. But you don't need to be powerful to harass someone online. You just need the internet. According to the American Counseling Association, 40% of cyberbullies engage in online aggression just for fun. Okay, it doesn't really help to know that someone who's constantly harassing you over Facebook has no reason to do so, but you should take comfort in the fact that it does have very little to do with you and everything to do with the bully's own super weird issues. You can't fight those issues. What you can do is learn how to avoid cyberbullying when possible and extract yourself from the situation when it's too late to avoid it. It's time for our 4-step method. Pause and print this Wellcast worksheet. Step 1. Privacy is prevention. Take a second to go through any place you store data about yourself online and make sure the privacy settings are airtight. Google your name. See what comes up. Make sure your Facebook settings don't give out your email address or phone number. Step 2. When bullied, don't respond and don't retaliate. This is a ridiculously hard rule to follow because, hey, you're getting sent awful things, and the first thing you want to do is fire back. But think of it like this, though. Engaging with a bully is like pouring water on a grease fire. It seems like the obvious thing to do at the time because, holy crap, my stovetop is in flames! But water just spreads the fire, and retaliating to a cyberbully just encourages the bully because you're giving him what he wants. Step 3. Block the bully if possible. What's better than ignoring a bully? Making it impossible for him to contact you, that's what. Try one of the following methods to make it harder for your bully to reach you. If you're on a messaging system, set it up so that only contacts on your buddy list can contact you. If this doesn't work, try going invisible or blocking the individual screen names that you know to be dangerous. Screen all incoming phone calls and text messages. If necessary, temporarily suspend your social media pages. Step 4. Save the information and tell someone. First and foremost, report the bullying to the service provider because cyberbullying is outlawed on most sites and messenger services. Cyberbullying is also illegal in most states, though some bullies might think they can get away with a lot simply because nobody knows who they are. What they forget is that they're leaving a pretty significant electronic trail. Save any threatening correspondence, email, Facebook, phones, etc., and show it to somebody you trust. This could be a parent, teacher, or friend. To recap, if you're being cyberbullied, first, make sure your online presence is as private as possible. Don't retaliate, but block the bully from communicating with you as much as you can. And finally, save all information and tell someone you trust about the bullying. If you would like more advice on dealing with bullies, like why you should never listen to a bully in the first place, click back to our last bullying episode. Tweet us at WatchWellcast, email watchwellcast@gmail.com, or leave a comment down below. We'll see you next time.
Okay, guys. So hopefully everybody got something out of that one. And I watched that video and I think, I think a lot of grown-ups should also watch that video. It is, again, this new world, not even just since we've been dealing with the pandemic, but just this new world with internet and all these new different apps and websites and people interacting. And there's some really great things we could do on the internet, like finding these great videos where I have some very energetic people who know more things or different things than I do, and I can share them with you, and I can learn, and you can learn. But also, there are just lots of things that we're still figuring it out. So we're going to talk a little bit about what it looks like for you being online, starting in grade 2 and 3 and getting older and older, and also grown-ups too, or your older siblings or cousins or friends as well, that they're online. It's a good check-in, and I really enjoy talking about this with students and families because it also reminds me to check in about myself and my family as well. So, internet use, why are we online? Why are you online? And then why are we online right now? So, we're number one, we're here to learn, right? We're here to get inspired. We could be on the internet and to collaborate, it's a great word. If you don't know that one already, is to work with other people. So hopefully you'll be able to do that. If you haven't done that already, hopefully you'll be doing that a lot once you get your assigned teacher. It is a great way to communicate. We've been into the world of the Google Meets and the Zooms and all the other FaceTimes. So we're a really great way to communicate with each other. I'm communicating with you right now. Great place to find support. So again, I go online. I've been connected with all the other teachers that you've seen this week in our live sessions. I can connect with other teachers and saying, what are you guys doing online? How's your class going? How are you? Okay. And a great way to find some support for yourself as well. I know grown-ups and hopefully kids, you've checked it out too. We have some links on the TDSB website for some places to get some support during especially the pandemic and being home. So there are some great links like Kids Helpful and whatnot. Great places to go online for support. And there's many more. So check that out if you haven't already. Connect, again, that goes with the communicate a little bit. We're connecting with people, especially now more than ever on the computer. And there's that social part too. This is how we're talking to our friends. Some people are chatting while they're gaming. Some people are, going on social media and whatnot. So it's a really great, awesome space is the internet. Oh, and there's one more, entertainment. I'm sure a lot of you are streaming Netflix, Disney Plus. I'm very excited about The Mandalorian coming out season 2. That's not a commercial, just what I'm into. We are excited about that. So lots of things you can be entertained with on the internet as well. All right, so here is something that I like to remind students and grown-ups, teenagers, about what is the digital world and what is the physical world. So the digital world that's the computer, the internet, your smartphones, your tablets, media, TV, you name it. Physical world is the world that we're in right now. The body that I could touch, the buildings, the outside world. So what I want everyone to remember is the digital world is very much like the physical world. It's hard to imagine because it's out there. I can't see what that big digital world is past my computer, but I can see the world around me. So sometimes it doesn't feel like it's real, but I want you to remember what I really liked about that one video is when they said the internet is forever, ever, ever. So you really want to think about how would I act if someone can see how I acted forever. Okay, and we know that lots of people can see different things on the internet. And sometimes when you're posting, even if it's just posting to your friends, you need to remember, or your family's posting about you as well. So you can talk to your grown-ups about what they post or how they communicate, or when you're Zooming, is that people can access it. So think about how you're acting, what you're saying, what you're doing. The way I like to think about it is if I was at school, would I be talking this way? Would I be dressing this way? We're streaming live today, so I'm going to make sure that I got dressed and I did my hair and I'm ready to present myself to the world, just like I would if I was walking into my school as well. And there's another thing I want you to think about is how you talk to people when you're online, when you're chatting and you are gaming or you've got your microphone on. I want you to think, if you wouldn't say something to that person in person to their face, it's probably not a good idea to type it, whether it's in an email, a text, or a comment to something, or again, there's so many different ways, or even when you're TikToking or videoing or whatever it is you guys are doing online or going to do one day. I want you to think about it. Think about if you wouldn't say it to someone's face, whether it's a joke or anything like that. I want you to think twice before you put it out there on the internet. So if you have a funny feeling about it, probably shouldn't do it. Okay. And the other part is if you're feeling uncomfortable online, okay, just like if you were to walk into a room or to go to a park or go to a party or in a classroom, if you're not feeling comfortable for any reason and you want to leave, same in the digital world. If you're in a space where you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, I want you to go and find a trusted adult, grown-up, or a sibling, or teacher, or a coach, or anyone else around you, family member, and let them know where you were and why you were uncomfortable. And we want to keep you safe. It could be something you need an explanation about, and it might be somewhere on the internet, and same with the physical world, that you don't need to go back to. So just so you know, if you are clicking around and you're watching something or you're in a chat room and it doesn't seem right, you can get out of there. Okay? So we want everyone to feel safe and comfortable. All right. One more little video. I think I'm going to stay here in the corner. It's a really quick one, and it's talking about being a digital citizen. So I really like that video. Super quick. Kind of just talked about exactly what we were just talking about just in the previous stream. Grown-ups for watching and students. Common Sense Media is a really great resource to learn about being online, what's on there. A great resource for teachers and parents, but also kids. Check it out. Okay, they've got a lot of great information there. The one other point that I picked up in that really quick video was the part with the alien. When we're online, the other part out there is we want to make sure what we're seeing, we're really thinking about it critically. We're wondering, is this true? Is this a lot of things can be done in the digital world to kind of alter what we see? So we want to always make sure that we're thinking critically about what we see. And making sure that maybe we reference it, or we see something that we're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, or that's awful, or that's so cool. You might want to double check either with, again, a trusted grown-up, or you can resource and see if I usually use the rule of 3. If I've tried 3 different reliable resources and they've all said the same thing, then maybe it's probably true. Okay. I'm also going to remind you about the TDSB Online Code of Conduct. Okay, TDSB wants everyone to be safe and follow the rules. If you want more information about this, this is what, as all students, we are all expected of. Just like we have a code of conduct when we are physically in school, we also have a code of conduct, meaning the way we should be acting while we're online, and if we just have our code of conduct, that's how we're acting at school. We are respectful. We are, taking care of ourselves and others. Again, we have a few rules there. If you're not sure about what is involved, please check it out. This might be a link. If it's not, it's on the web. It's on the web. It's on the internet. And go over it with your parents, your families, grown-ups. You can check it out too. And a really great conversation space with your children or your parents, family. Okay. So we're going to talk about a couple big digital words. One is digital identity. Okay. We are now on the computer. This is my YouTube professional channel. You can see all the other sessions I've done or anything else I've posted here. It's a part of my digital identity. So not just me, who I am as a person, my identity, but my digital identity. There is my reputation as a teacher. You'll watch some of them. This is my 3rd day doing some streaming, and I think I'm getting better, but you can see me go along as I get better at using YouTube Live. But that's all out there, and I needed to know that before I did it. So I want you to think about that. Think about what you're saying, and you want to make it a good reputation for yourself. Okay, so I want you to think about that as you're getting more online and in your classrooms, especially meeting your new assigned teachers. Okay, you want to make sure that you set a good identity, representation, and again, it's forever. Okay, digital citizen. When you are on the computers, just like being a good citizen in the real world, I want you to think about being positive, safe, legal, and ethical. Those are some big words, but you want to make sure that you are contributing positively to the world, and we can do that online. About the messages you send, what you create, if you're making a website, hopefully some of you might be starting to get into that with your teachers either this year or next year coming up. You guys are still young, but I know you guys can do it, and you guys are honestly some of you are going to be much better at this technology than some of us teachers and some of us grown-ups as well. So when you're creating, when you're putting things out there, make sure it's positive and supportive for other people and it's safe. Digital respect. Okay, and we're still, as much as you would like to receive respect, make sure that you're giving it out there and you're thinking about other people that you're interacting with or can see it, and make sure that we're still showing respect, because I think everybody wants that and needs that and deserves that. Safety. Okay, so a lot of information is getting out there. Again, we're very lucky that the TDSB has a nice, safe, secure system to communicate with you and for you to communicate with your teachers as well. So making sure, again, and outside our school accounts, making sure that your personal data, your information is safe. When you're signing up for different apps, I know there's a lot of learning apps out there right now, which is really great. Make sure you read. You have to do an agreement at the beginning. Make sure you read all the fine print. Make sure that your any information that you put out there will be safe and secure. And if it's not going to be, don't put it out there. Okay, I'm calling this when to check in. So we're having a little balance here of how much time we're on computers, we're on games, we're streaming, Netflix, Disney Plus, Prime, all these things, what apps we're in, we're on our phone, we're swiping, we're everything, okay? So it's a good time to take a quick inventory or check-in on how we're doing. So sometimes you'll hear about screen time, too much screen time, and it's really tricky these days now that we're learning online. So for kids, for students, and for grown-ups, we need to have a quick check-in and see how things are going. If it's impacting your life negatively, so your health is not great, maybe you haven't exercised, you haven't got up off the couch for a long time, okay? Or you're not getting fresh air or anything like that. If your mood is a little bit off, sometimes when we spend too much screen time, it may not be, or what we're watching may not put us in a really good mood. So you have to really kind of notice that. Or if someone else notices that, it's always nice to say, hey, concerned about you, this is what I've noticed. And your social behavior. So it's really tricky. I notice at some point, sometimes some students I work with, they only talk in like shorthand, like BRB, IDK, all those different things. And so I'm kind of going, hold on a second, we're forgetting how to talk like regular in-person physical human beings. Sometimes people forget how to talk to people's faces, especially right now when we don't see many faces in person all the time. So if you're finding that that's getting in the way of some of your social, your friends and whatnot, maybe it's time to check in how much we're on the computer and your academics. Okay, if we're gaming too much, if we're doing social media too much, and we're not spending as much time in school doing your schoolwork, then we need to kind of think about how am I going to put yourself in check, and how am I going to set that up. So maybe I need some support from my grown-up. Sometimes I need to put my own limits, put a timer on. Maybe I'm only going to do things for a short period of time, make sure I get my academics done. Because even though there's lots of fun things to do, if we are not paying attention, they could take away from the good things, okay? And the other part is if it's kind of disrupting your family. If you find that families are kind of fighting about or just getting upset with tablets at the table. Okay, it's the rule in my house: no tablets or screens at the table for dinner. If we're having trouble shutting them off at night, or I've heard stories of kids waking up their parents at 5 a.m. in the morning saying, "Can I have my tablet now?" There's lots of different things. So if it's getting in the way of your relationships with the people that you live, It's a good conversation to have. I know even in our classroom, when the technology and using the technology gets in the way with the way things are running in the classroom, technology just disappears for a little bit until we can sort that out again. But everyone can manage that their own way. So we want to make sure that you're still interacting with the physical people around you, that there are positive interactions, and that you're also communicating in person. I've heard stories of people just texting from other rooms. Go say hi. Go see some faces. Okay. And I do have a note there for the grown-ups is that you know your children best. If they're not acting quite like themselves again, it's time to check in and maybe ask for some help too. Okay, doing a quick time check. Oh my goodness, I have 10 more minutes. So I'm going to tell a really quick story because I really enjoy telling stories. And this one's a kind of silly one. So what I'm going to do is share my story. Here I go. I'm going to come online here. Hello, hello. And we had some serious conversation there. So now I would like to kind of have some fun with you guys. I'm going to tell a story, and this is my challenge is going to be for you to tell the story to somebody else today. Call a grandparent, aunt and uncle, maybe one of your parents. If you're not living with both your parents, you could call your mom or your dad up and say, just learned this story, got to check it out. Tell a sibling, a cousin, and tell the story again because it's a really fun one. So this story is called The Rooster and the Mouse. One idea, and because I think I only have time to tell the story once today. I often like to tell stories 2 times in a row. I'm looking for my paper and I've lost it. Here it is. Okay. So this is what I call an accordion story. Okay. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is as I am telling the story, I want you, if you have a piece of paper and some crayons, pencil crayons, markers, whatever with you, okay, you're going to be introduced to a few characters in the story. Again, usually I do this activity after the first time we've heard it, but I think we're running out of time already. So I want you to draw very small and the characters that we're talking about, okay? And you'll see why once we get going. So I'm going to fold my paper like this, okay? And so that I have sections and I can do a character per section, okay? Or you don't need to fold it, just draw the different characters. And you can draw along whoever you see in your mind as we go. Once upon a time, there was a rooster and a mouse. They were friends. The rooster looked up at a beautiful walnut tree and said, "Oh, I'm so hungry. Mouse, can you please climb up and pass me a walnut? I'm so hungry, I'll eat it." So the mouse scampered up the tree, went down the branch, picked a walnut, and threw it down. Maybe a little bit too enthusiastic because hit the rooster on the top of the head. "Oh no, I've wounded my friend." The mouse came scampering down and said, "Rooster, rooster, are you okay?" Rooster said, "I think so, but I really hurt my head. I have a boo." So mouse said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what? I know the old lady down the road has a bandage. Go ask her for a bandage for your head." Okay. So the rooster went down the street and went to the old lady and said, old lady, I heard you have a boo-boo. Do you have a bandage for my head?" The old lady said, "I would love to give you a bandage for your head, but I really need 2 hairs from the dog." Okay. So the rooster said, "Okay, I'll go ask the dog." So the rooster went down and said to the dog down the road, Dog, I need 2 hairs so I could give them to the old lady so she could give me a bandage for my boo-boo on my head." The dog said, "I would love to give you 2 hairs, but I'm really, really hungry. Can you go to the baker and ask for some bread so that I can eat?" Okay, so the rooster went down the street, went to the bakery, and said, Baker, can you please give me a piece of bread so that I can have 2 hairs to give to the dog, to give to the old lady, to give me a bandage for my head?" The baker said, "I would love to give you a piece of bread, but I'm all out of wood for the fire for the oven. Can you please go to the forest and get me some wood, and then I'd be happy to give you some bread." "Okay," said the rooster, and the rooster walked down the street to the edge of town where the forest was, And the rooster said, "Forest, forest, please, can you give me some wood to give to the baker so he can bake me some bread to give to the dog who will give me 2 hairs, who will give it to the old lady to give me a bandage for my head?" The forest said, "We would love to, but we're so dry. It hasn't rained in ages. Can you please bring us some water?" "Okay, okay." And so the rooster walked back into town to the big fountain in the center of the town. And he said, "Fountain, fountain, please, can I have some water to bring to the forest so they could give me some wood so I could bring it to the baker who could bake some bread so I could give it to the dog who will give me 2 hairs that I'll give to the old lady who will give me a bandage for my bread?" And the fountain said, "Of course, absolutely." So the rooster picked up the water from the fountain, brought it to the forest, sprinkled water along the trees. The forest gave him some wood. He took the wood to the baker, and put it in the oven, and baked the bread. He gave it to the rooster to bring to the dog. The dog ate the bread, gave him 2 hairs. He brought the hairs to the old lady, who gave him a bandage for his boo-boo on his head. And that's the end of that story. So hopefully you were drawing along. If not, you can listen to this recording again because we're already almost out of time. And you'll see that if you had drawn, or if you're going to draw, each character on a part of the paper, and you might actually, if I count all the characters, you might need some more folds, or you could always draw it. It will help you tell the story again. And the more times you tell the story, the better you get at it. And it's a great way to practice speaking clearly. It's a great way to communicate some fun ideas, and it's a really great place for some creativity. Sometimes when I tell stories, I'll tell it a little bit different each time. So I'm going to encourage you all to draw your story out, practice telling a friend, maybe tell another friend if you know somebody else that's watching this session today, have them tell you the story, and then you tell them the story and see how you tell it a little bit differently maybe. So that is going to be your oral communication, potentially your writing, and your language activity for the day. Okay. And next up, I have just a couple minutes, super, super short. I'm going to give you a STEM challenge. Here we go. So your STEM challenge of the day is to do some estimating, counting, and designing and building. We are at home right now. Sorry, it's taking a second for my computer to come up. There we go. We're at home right now, so we have all different kinds of materials at home. I know that you don't have the same thing in your house than I do in my house, so I'm going to say, let's get creative. I'm going to challenge you to make a super tall tower with parent permission or family permission. Okay, so check with your grown-ups what you are allowed to use in your house. I'm going to show you what I'm going to build super quick, because I know we're running out of time, and I have to also get ready because I get to speak with the grade 4, 5s, and 6s before lunchtime today. So one of the materials I have at home is I have socks. I have lots and lots of socks. These are my daughter's socks. I'm going to estimate how many socks I could build really tall. Now, because we're in grade 2 and 3, I think a lot of us know that, you know what, I can't just stack them on top because they're rolling and they're unstable. So I'm going to start to think, how many socks? A, how many socks do I have in my house? B, I'm going to make sure I clean up after and help my grown-ups fold the socks. But I'm going to try to see how tall I can make my sock pile. And I'm going to try to think, how many socks do I think I'm going to guess maybe 20. I think I'm going to be very optimistic and think I could get about 20 high. But I'm noticing as I make a stable base that also, oh, here we go. It gets a little bit shorter. So I'm trying to play around with that. So there you go. There's my sock tower. I could keep going. If you have any measuring devices at home, you could measure how tall it is. If you have a ruler or a measuring tape, you can also use, that's something big, you can use marshmallows, which is my favorite. And when you're done, I'm gonna pop. I have some cereal there. You could try stacking those. Super, super tiny, super, super cute. I don't know how many I would do before they fall over. Okay, so you can check that out. I have juice boxes. I can stack those. Hopefully everyone has, some toilet paper at home. I have enough that I could probably make a pretty tall tower. So play around with it. That's going to be your STEM challenge of the day. You could take a picture of it and have some fun with that. For sure. Okay, so I think we are out of time already. Oh my goodness. All right, so thanks for coming grade 2s and 3s to our virtual school session today. Again, I'm Miss Trusty. Stay tuned if you haven't heard from your teacher yet, from your assigned virtual teacher. Hopefully you will hear very soon. We're working very hard to get everyone their teachers and their classes all set up. What do you do next? We still have our resources. We have our asynchronous learning resources. So click on your grade to find out what's going on for you there that you could be doing at home. And students and grown-ups at home, you could take this survey. We're curious, how are things going with you? What have you been doing, and how else can we support you? So please take a second to complete that survey. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, I'm Miss Trusty, and I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Bye.